If I look all ragged and beaten from the snow in my hair, it's because it's not from that at all. It's from watching the frickin' reunion episode. It just, I'm sorry, I'm getting mad.
What did I not see? Like all I saw was someone being stupid and another person defending a friend.
You flipped my mind right there, upside down. You wrinkled my brain.
What did I not see in this episode or these episodes? Like what did I miss? I say screw the fans, all right? You guys know what I'm talking about.
See if we how many mean comments we get on this one. Ooh. Come on, let's get into it. There's so much to talk about. So much.
There is. I feel like a lot of it is not even like on the show.
Right. A lot of it isn't even on the show. A lot of it is stuff that is being said in like social media and stuff like that behind the scenes. But I got my stress ball ready, so I'm ready to
I
go. Are you?
see. Oh, should I? Huzzah! Stress ball.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. We need it today. From movies to video games, welcome to Marie Plays It All. Today is another episode of Love is Liberal. I mean, Love is Blind, episode season 8 with George.
Uh,
We're covering the weddings and we're covering the reunion all in one
uh,
episode. So right away, we're gonna get flack for that. And I'm just like, sure. Let's just go. And let's start right at the beginning of the episode. Sarah saying no. Let's not even chit chat about this, okay? We started off. Sarah
uh,
says no. What are your thoughts? Right from the hop.
I gotta say, like, I kind of wish this was almost like it's funny I have a football thing here as my stress ball because like
Mhm.
watching football growing up everything and my especially in my mid-20s where I used to work we used to play squares and like that's like a gambling thing that you play and like if you get the certain number score then you get money and whatever. I felt like if
Right?
if we were betting on this episode I would have won every freaking every freaking point bracket because we talked about this last week and I said it. I think only one couple's getting married and they started strong with this couple right here.
Yeah,
And she's the one I thought was going to say no in
of
this
course.
couple.
Yeah,
We knew it.
same.
The thing that gets me is like they said loving things to each other and
Hmm.
and then her reasoning for saying no, it's just like, well then you've known this for weeks that you were going to say no. Like it's not like something happened last night and you're like, you know what, he said this thing and that changed everything. It's like, no,
Hmm.
you've known because of the church thing. You've known because of his answers and how I guess he wasn't trying hard enough. It's like he
Hmm.
was never going to line up with what you wanted. And you were saying that coming up to the wedding. So it's like the only reason they got dragged out is, as far as I'm concerned, is contractual. It's because
Um,
the show is like, hey, make it to this point, just for the TV reasons. And they're like, all
mhm.
right, it's like I'm gonna say no, but I can go through all this process. Why not?
So there's some things on Instagram. Let me tell you, man. Watching stuff on Instagram, I never really do. I just watch the show for what it is, an entertainment
Same.
show, and then I kind of just don't read or listen to anything else really on Instagram. But there's a couple of them that I've followed since then, but I'm just like, oh, they're still like the married ones, and I'm like, oh, it's just cute because like I love the love aspect. But other than that, it's just a show. But yeah, apparently there he would like hook up with girls and leave his business card, which was his YouTube channel. So I think he's just really eager to be famous. And there's a huge issue with the show we'll talk about at the end. I'm starting to like really not like this aspect of the show because it's so not authentic because of how they go about certain things. But we can talk about it at the end. We can focus on Ben and Sarah right now. But I just want to say though, because states that she wanted him to just have any opinion, dig deeper into it, whatever. And he's like, oh, I apologize. I'm jumping around because I'm going to the reunion now. Don't worry, no, stick to the weddings. um but that's what she claimed. And how important is it to you, George, in your opinion? How important is it that you're in a relationship with an opinion of like a person who is very opinionated with either political views or religious views, like someone who just has like, no, this is what I believe and that's it? And like, was that really important to you, or what does that say about a person, or what do you think? It seems to be really important to some people, and Sarah's one of them.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely depends on the situation, you know.
Hmm.
And I think their relationship is a great example. Like she was hardcore about the LGBTQ stuff and about the George Floyd stuff and the Black Lives Matter. If the person's response to you is the polar opposite, like where they're just like, oh, I don't believe in LGBTQ stuff. That's not real, or it's like the George Floyd thing. It's like, oh, well, pro racism, whatever, it's like if they're on that total opposite end, then it's like, yeah, that you can't. It's just no,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen, you know.
Hmm.
But if there's more of like an agnosticness to it, I feel, or just like I think the best example is me and my wife. Like Jen is so like she she is pro LGBTQ just like I am, and she is not racist like I am, But at the same time, like it's not a topic that gets talked about per se. You know what I mean? Like it's not on the forefront of what we're thinking about when it comes to our relationship or our day to day. You know,
Hmm.
It's like yeah, we support those people, but at the same time, it's just like it's not going to make or break us because at the end of the day, it doesn't
Right.
have to do with us. It doesn't affect our relationship in any kind of way and how we interact with one another. It's not a thing. It's not the thing that was going to
Hmm.
solidify whether or not it was going to work. It's a personality thing. It's like how do you treat me? How are you with others? That's what matters more. How do you interact with the world around you? If you're a peaceful, good person, that's what should matter. Like all the other stuff, it's like it's whatever. It to me honestly, it's going to sound kind of insensitive to some extent, but it's like not liking the same movie to some extent, or the same music. It's just like, oh, you listen to Rage Against the Machine? Well, I only listen to the Pixies, so I guess we can't be together. And I don't know why I
Mm.
use older groups like that instead of newer things, but hey, I guess that's where my head's at.
I mean, it makes sense for our age group.
I guess.
So, but maybe that also speaks to our age group, how maybe we're like a little bit more open-minded. Like when we were growing up, we were like, don't talk about politics. It was impolite to talk about politics. You don't
No
talk about
politics, no
those things.
religion.
No
Yeah.
religion. You just don't talk about it. And I think it was because we don't want to cause that fight between people you care about. You care about each other, you love. But like I have one of my closest friends, she is like very opposite political beliefs than me. Like we both know it. Like we're both polar opposites.
Yeah.
And I bring it up to her sometimes. I'm like, that's great. How you can just like have these beliefs and I have these political beliefs. And she's like, yeah. She's like, but I fucking love you. I'm like, too. Like I love you too. Like it's just like that doesn't break the love between us or like the trust or the bond. Because when we're together, we're not like talking about political things. We're playing Catan. Like we're not like doing or we're talking about our lives or loved ones or anything like that. We're not being like, oh yeah, well who'd you vote for though? What's your thought on this? It's like I don't care. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
feel like it's maybe and like in Love is Blind, they're only like 10 years younger than us. And it's just there seems to be a
Yeah.
gap, like there seems to be a generational gap between like some sort of belief system and how you accept people or something. I don't know.
I think also what it is, and this is probably broader scale kind of things, is we don't have anything to unify us. At least in the States, you look back in decades past, it's like Republican Democrat thing wasn't a big deal,
Hmm.
because we had a unified threat that we're always against. Like if it was a world war, if there's a war, we need a war to keep us on the same path, because like the last thing we had was what the Afghan thing with 9/11. There was
Hmm.
never a talk of like, oh, Democrat, Republican, or this, that, all this. We didn't care about that. We just cared about get those mofos that attacked us. We were,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
and everyone was so pro America. Everyone had their flags, you know. And nowadays it's just like there's that forgetting of like, oh wait, we're on the same team. What's happening here?
Yeah.
There's that forgetting of like both sides are trying to fight for the people of the states. So it's like at the end of the day, if you're a voter looking for to who to choose sides for, and one's choosing red, one's choosing blue, both have to remember it's like we're both trying to care for our people. We're doing what's
Hmm.
best for our people, you know. And sometimes our people may not always align together, but that doesn't make either side evil. It's just like you're going to think about the ones closest to you. And sometimes certain laws and bills or whatever are going to cater to one side more than the other. That doesn't mean someone's bad,
No.
you know?
It's impossible to agree on everything,
Yeah.
especially a whole nation. and you shouldn't agree on everything. Otherwise it'd be like
It'd be boring as hell.
yeah, and wouldn't it be like communistic if you all just like were forced to like think like, hey, this is the way it is and you can't say
Yeah,
anything about it and you're gonna believe this? Like when that is that a word, communistic?
it is now.
This is a whole other podcast. We can go off on this forever. Seriously, I can go on with this forever. But you know what? I just want to say, like,
uh,
before I interjected there with my thought, that was a George spitting facts moment. Okay, so back to Love is Blind.
yeah. The only thing I would add that I kind of chuckled at
What?
was when she said no, and he's like, he's super understanding at the altar, and he's like, you think maybe we could still see each other and talk after this? And her just like, we'll figure it out afterwards. Like it's like I gotta go, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
that's a no. It's like if it was yes, she would have said yes, but saying that
yeah.
is just like, oh my god, that hurts even more than the no itself.
Well, yeah, because and she was like, it's kind of inappropriate that he asked me that, like right then and there. It's like that's not a conversation for right then and there. You know what I mean? But
Is it though? Is it
I,
inappropriate? I mean, I'd want to know because at that point, it's just like if it's a no, then it's like I don't want to continue on with this. Like that, I don't want to be led on to like thinking I was like, all right, it's a no today, but there's still possibilities because maybe we need more time.
hmm
Like this process was too fast for us.
hmm
Let's linger in this relationship a bit more so we can really figure it out. I thought that was a very reasonable question on his end, in my opinion. Because honestly, like I said, if it's no, it's like, all right, then we never have to see each other again. And
ah,
I can
yeah,
go home. And
yeah. Peace. Okay, what does everyone else think? Comment below.
yeah.
Inapprops or approps? Um, okay, let's move to Monica and Joey. Okay, Monica and Joey, here we go. When they did, okay, remember last episode when we were talking about how he chooses his words wisely and how he says, I have
Yes.
love for her, not I love her, blah, blah. I even noticed when they showed the proposal, he does not say, will you marry me? He says, will you get engaged with me?
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
choosing those words. And you know what? There's stuff that's come to light now where it's like he knew exactly what he was doing. And it was all on purpose. Like he was being very uh,
Calculated.
calculated and intentional with his word choice.
Yeah.
So we get to the weddings, and the thing that I was thinking mostly was if I knew that we were supposed to get married and the person who I was supposed to marry was going to make a rash decision at the altar and they weren't sure of me, I right away would be like, we don't have to do this, please. Let's not get married. I really don't
Yeah.
want you to marry me if you're not sure, because obviously, you want them to be sure of you. And when Monica was like getting her makeup done and getting her hair done and everything, and her friends and her sister, or mostly her friends, that were asking, like, does he reassure you? Does he do this? Is he this? Are you guys physical? Blah, blah. And then now we hear like Monica's like, well, no, he doesn't like really reassure me, even with his words, but then also being physical. Right away, I'm thinking, like, don't please, maybe you shouldn't. Like, I love them together as a couple, but at the same time, I'm like, if you're not getting any of that love language that you need, maybe don't do it. And another thing is like some people can have different love language, like, words of affirmation and physical touch and all that stuff. And maybe that's not the other person's love language, but try to be intentional about giving that your partner what their love language is, because
Yeah.
that's love. And he didn't do any of those things apparently. So I was thinking, oh, don't do it then. And I never thought I'd say it, but I was just like, oh, I hope. And then I was like, I hope he doesn't say yes, and then she has to, or I hope she doesn't say yes, and then he says no. Like
Yeah.
everything was going around in my head. So, how'd you feel about that? How'd you feel about everything that happened there?
Man, their their lead up into the wedding until their I do's, it had me in mixed feelings so much
Mm,
because like you said, she's going through her conversation with her side of the family. And as they're going through and asking her the questions, her answers aren't feeling positive. It's like, oh damn. Like what we've been seeing so far, despite whatever he's been saying, they seem to get along so well. You know what I mean? Like their interactions seem so jovial and just you'd swear that they were in love with each other, or at least so close that they're on the path to becoming something, great. And then to hear it's like, oh, he actually doesn't show physical love or complementary love and all this kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff happening that we're not seeing or even not hearing properly. And it's just like, oh, that's disappointing to hear.
Yeah.
And then on his side, his friends are asking him the same questions. Like I saw stuff online, people were dogging on him because like, oh, he's just playing football with his friends while she's over having heartfelt conversations with her family. And it's like, no, they're having the same conversations. It's just she's getting her hair done, and this is how they relax. Like just because this is how the dudes are relaxing doesn't make it any less important than what they're doing. And I thought it was very wrong because I found it cute that him and his boys were just tossing the ball around because they're like, oh, you brought the football, oh, great, and like it helped him just like be at ease. And like you
Yeah.
need whatever that thing is. Like you said, different people need love in different ways. That was a loving thing that he needed so that he can
Hmm.
be ready for this moment. That was really big.
His friends were so amazing. I just loved all the
Oh
questions they
yeah.
were asking. So his friends were like really emotionally intelligent. And I was like, what Minnesota? Like, what's going on with you men down there? Like, what's happening? Like, what is this?
Yeah,
I
no.
actually like that too, because people need different things to relax also. Like sometimes it's having fun being physical, and sometimes it's, having champagne while you're getting your hair done. I don't know. It's different for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. It's something I didn't like. I didn't like that he was being dogged like that in that moment. But then his answers to them, some of them seemed like he was gonna say yes, because they're like, does she provide for you everything you need or whatever kind of stuff. I don't remember the exact questions, but he was just like, yeah, and like he made it seem like this is the person he wants to see every day. But then he still had that moment. He's like, I'm not gonna know what I'm gonna say until I get there. It's like you can't then like
Yeah.
by that point with what she was saying, what he was saying, they went from my number one to immediately to like you guys can't get married.
No, you should not.
Yeah. And so when she said no, I was like, yeah, yeah, it's like it makes
Yeah.
sense. But what made it worse is what was said afterwards. And the fact that he said that was the first time he ever heard her say I love you. It's like, oh, hold on here. We got some kettle black situation going on where it's like we're talking shit about him not giving love affirmation, but it's like neither are you. So, so if like you're not doing it, then you can't get mad at him for him not doing it. Because if you truly do love him, say it. If you're just waiting for
Yeah.
him to say it first, then that's on you. That's your fault, you know? And it kind of
Yeah.
like it became a waiting game because both of them were waiting on each other. Like either you do love each other or you don't.
Him saying that, that's the first time she told me she loved me, and like you're saying, it was a waiting game on both, and I think I agree. And I agree with you and can see your side about how, well, then it's kind of her fault too, because like she could have said it first, and then maybe that would have made him open up and feel more comfortable and vulnerable with her to like get closer to her. But then I also see her side of being guarded, and if you're not showing like any interest basically to like be physical, or like he's attracted to her, or I would be like, ah, should I hold on to my I love you? Like I don't want to say it unless he says it, because I don't feel like he does, and he's not showing me in any way at all. So I don't think he does. So if I say it, then I'm left in the open, and if I don't get that I love you back, like oof, you know,
It's rough.
that
It's rough.
that
Yeah.
hurts. That's like hugging somebody and then their arms being but like at their sides, and you're like, oh geez, like it just, that is the most empty alone feeling, saying I love you, not getting the I love you back. And I can just see that's her, why she's holding that back. So I think it wasn't meant to be. Their
Yeah.
no's at the altar were good. Like I wrote down best no's ever, because they seemed to hug and everything was okay. And
Yeah. They were so copacetic with each other. It's like, yeah, I
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
Like his response was like he didn't say it, but he's like, I was gonna say no too. That was his attitude.
yeah. I think he said it. I think he said like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna same thing. And it was sweet that they had the wheelchair for his sister, and
Oh,
that was
oh my
really,
God.
that was,
That
yeah,
that that got me. Like when
yeah.
like because the mother talked about it a bit and I saw I was like, oh my God. I was like,
Oh no.
it was so sweet. And which honestly that part kind of almost got to me though, also in an annoying way. Only in
Mm,
the sense that it's just like it's such a touching and emotional thing to do to know you're gonna say no and do that. It puts so much thought into the day and the moment. It's just
yeah.
like, why waste such an emotional hit on not just yourself, but your family? And it's just like, don't do it. Like I'm sorry, screw the contract stuff. Like, look at Lauren and freaking and David. They didn't go all the way through with it. Like, you don't have to go all the way through, and you can
No.
still get your publicity that you want. Your TV crap.
Yeah.
You're gonna be there for the reunion regardless. So it's just like, why put your family through such an emotional situation if you know that's what you're gonna do. Like
Yeah,
that
and I
that that
never
really struck me in a bad way.
never thought of that, and I actually absolutely agree with you. Because like, what's going to happen now? You're going to have your real wedding in a few years with somebody else, and when you do put the chair there again, it just kind of like diminishes the whole meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Like we're just going to throw up your chair everywhere we go now. It's just like, oh, like it's just kind of, oh yeah,
It's
ooh,
gross. It's gross. And to
oh,
me,
it's
it doesn't
kind of
make you look good as a
gross.
person. It's like you just wanted to get those points.
Oh no, George. You see, sometimes if you just, sometimes you can have a thought and then you listen to some. George speaking facts. Or spitting facts. Let's just another again, George spitting facts. But sometimes you can have a thought and you're like, ah, and then if you just listen to another person's perspective and just have an open mind, you can be like, oh, damn, wait, you're right. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
saying you're right to somebody. Let me just say that too. Because wow,
Yeah.
George, you
I'm wrong
totally
sometimes.
flip. Yeah, you flipped my mind right there, upside down. You wrinkled my brain.
Yeah. I think it's because I felt emotional about it too. That's the thing. Like I saw the
Yeah,
mom
and then you
crying
think
and I was
about
like,
it.
"Oh my God, that's so sweet." And then when they said their nose and he's like, "Yeah, I was gonna say no too." I was like, "Wait, what? What?" It just made me see that
Yeah,
whole situation different, it flipped it.
my life got flipped, turned upside down. Whoa. All right, so let's move on to Devin and Virginia.
This was the one where, because they were my number two, where I thought they might get married, or like they
Mhm.
might make it. Remember, they might have like my list, my rankings.
Yeah.
And when you see the families coming together and everything, and the way like even Devin, like how he's talking about her, and it's like, oh shit, like I think he loves her. I'm feeling it
Yeah.
now. Like I wasn't feeling it before, but now shit, I'm feeling it. And you see how she's acting, and like the families really did it for me because the families were so supportive. I don't think I can recall a season where there was a two families coming together, and like you would have sworn like you're watching a wedding of two people who have been together for years because like
Hmm.
the mothers are coming over and being supportive to her and giving her hugs and saying all this positive stuff, and they're coming over to his side, and it's like wow, like they want this, like they're so with it, and it got me happy, and I was like, they're gonna say yes, like this is guaranteed. Swoosh, they got it, you know. So when she said no, I was like, what? Like I was audible to my TV, and I think I was just like no, and then the dad was like no, and I was like oh shit.
Yeah.
Like when it hit him, it's like that was like hard, and then and then Devin started crying. I was like oh shit. I was taken aback. I was like, shit, I did not see that coming, especially not from her. I said it before. If someone was gonna say no, I thought he was gonna say no. But the fact that she said it, I was like, oh, okay, damn. But then she gave her reasons. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, okay, it makes sense. I get why you're saying no. It's not unreasonable. The unreasonable part though is the fact that it's like you knew for a long time. Like it's like this isn't a decision that you knew last night. All this stuff you're bringing up, this was weeks in the making. You guys
Yeah.
already had these conversations and you knew that. So it's just like, why did you drag it on for so long? Why did
Hmm.
you accept his gifts? Why did you do it like and like your poor family? Like, the dad felt invested within this situation. So it's just like they really both sides of the family really freaking are supporting you guys and are in it with you, and they're gonna show up to this freaking day, and you guys are gonna be like, you know you're gonna say no. Like there was no
Hmm.
question. And like then looking back at her time with her family and her time by herself, you could see like she was on the brink of tears, through the whole time. And like at first I'm looking at it like, oh, she's just emotional because of the day, and you get
Yeah.
emotional when you get married. It's you cry. Like me and my wife cried, but we were so happy. And so that's what I thought was happening. But then looking back, it's like, oh no, you weren't crying because you were happy. You were crying because you knew what you were gonna do. And it's just like
Hmm.
you knew every like the ramifications of what you've done. That's why you're crying, is because you're like, oh damn, I'm gonna do this thing. I feel really bad about it. Wasted all this time. So that
Hmm.
that was kind of bothersome. It's like it's again like these people who know, and maybe it's because we watched so many seasons and it's just getting to me now. And it's just like in advance, why are you dragging this on? So many other people say no, you could say no too. You don't have to wait till the wedding day and get a dress and all this crap. Or do you just want to wear a dress for the sake of wearing a dress? I don't know.
She did look good in that dress, so maybe.
She looked amazing. Like that
Yeah.
was another one of Jen's things to point out. She's like, she is hot. She's
Yeah, she looked great. Like yeah, that dress. And then she also mentioned that, oh, he got a check and didn't tell me, and I lost trust, and I said no. That was partially one of the reasons why she said no during the wedding as well.
that one I did not agree with. I didn't agree with that one.
Yeah, because in my head, I'm thinking, well, he's probably waiting a lot for the wedding, like
Exactly.
after you guys get married. Like,
That's how I felt. That's
okay, so then we'll move on. We'll move on to Taylor and Daniel. And the first thing I want to say about this is, God, I wanted to slap her mom in the face when her mom walked in and said, "It's all about me." And I'm like,
uh
it is not like this woman, how she was like in the other episode, like, and what planet do you think you can get engaged and not tell me it's not about you?
yeah.
It's all about me on my if my mom walked in on me getting my makeup done on my wedding day and said it's all about me, I would be like, what in what planet do you think my wedding day is all about you? What are you
Yeah.
doing? That's so like disrespectful, and that's so heartbreaking. Oh, I'm sorry. That made me really mad. But
Oh no, don't be sorry. Because when I heard, I had to rewind it because I was like, did I hear that correctly?
oh,
I thought I misheard, and I was like, maybe I heard that from a different person. But I went back. I was like, huh, you really don't care about your daughter. You
I mean, again, maybe it was edited weird. Like I have no idea, but I just what a weird comment.
it didn't
And
look good. It did.
it didn't look good. It didn't look good.
Yeah.
And then, but her dad came in, and I love her dad. Oh my God. But talk to me about Taylor and Daniel's wedding.
It's funny that the couple that I from the beginning was on the bottom of my list
No.
rose to the top. Like you knew, you called that. You called
Oh,
that.
yes.
It was super sweet, and I totally just forgot about all the drama from like
Yeah.
episode whatever it was, And it was just like an awesome lovingness about them, And I love when they're doing their vows. And like he just like went off on a love rant. And he's like, I should get back to reading this. And I was like, oh, that's not from your paper. Like he's just going off. And it made me think to myself because like what does she always say? It's like it's his words, like the way he chooses his words. And it's like the man is not a wordsmith. Like he's not saying anything like super special. Honestly, if anything, I put on the outside, he seems bad with his words. But it's cute for her because it's coming from the guy that she likes. I think that's what it is. And I think that speaks loudly when it comes to love and what it does to you. You know?
Maybe it's not even just the words that he says, but the fact that he even uses words, because there's a lot of dudes out there, not to clump a stereotype or whatever, who aren't very expressive verbally. And
Yeah.
he just seems pretty open with his words. Maybe she's not used to that. Like maybe she's just not used to someone being like very vocal with their feelings. And their vows, in all capitals, my note is the vows I am bawling. So I was crying because the vows are so beautiful. When Daniel like says, "This isn't even on here," that I'm just, what do you say? I'm just feeling this or
Yeah.
something like that. And I'm just like, right, see, that's not being a wordsmith, but that's being so like I'm just feeling this right now. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
what I'm feeling. And it's just like no one, that's rare. So and then him going on his tangent and then being all like, oh, okay, I should go back. And it's just it's very quirky and cute. And then her vows and her reading off that like note from her diary that she like wrote to God praying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's a wordsmith. Like her words were very deep and like a little profound too. They even panned to like Daniel's mom after, and Daniel's mom was like, "Damn, like that was amazing." um, and yeah, I thought the vows were beautiful. The feeling behind them, you really felt everything. I cried a lot. They were so cute. And talking about Operation Consummation, I hope that's all going well for
Yeah.
them.
That
Because I
was
was
so
like, damn,
good.
a lot of these people haven't been intimate with each other, these couples. And that's a
Yeah.
pretty important thing. Like before you get married, maybe, test drive the car a little bit to make sure it's running okay, like getting used to the interior, is the interior okay on your bottom? Like, is it
Have that
anyway?
custom leather, that custom.
Yeah, yeah, custom leather, any speed bumps along the way. So I was kind of like, oh damn, like people are holding out, which is kind of like admirable. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Are you
So I was
sure?
like,
Are you
yeah.
sure?
So fingers crossed. I was like, okay, hope it all works out for them. All right, let's do it. Let's go to the Friggin' reunion. Let's kick it
The
off.
freaking reunion.
The frickin' reunion. That's so Canadian. First things first, Daniel's tattoo of Taylor's eyes on his chest. Thoughts?
Oh man. So Jen's next to me on her games. And like I'm like, hold on here. I know you're not paying fully attention, but hear me out. I got pause because I wouldn't want to miss anything. How do you feel about someone having tattooed eyes of you on their chest? So when you're making love, you see yourself looking at you. Look.
What I was thinking.
Because that's kind of weird. That's
That, you know what? That was my exact thought, was that exact scenario and how awkward that would be. I would not want
yeah.
me looking at me like, and if you're, well, you know what though? Maybe it's the height that works for them because she's never going to be down there on his chest level. She's going to be always eye level with him. So she won't see it as much. But if you're someone who's short and your man's a little bit taller, then I can see certain positions eye
Man,
level with your own eyes.
I don't know. I feel like it's still
Maybe
there.
that's it's
It's still
still there.
there. It's yeah.
I agree. I think it's yeah, I think it's
It's
sweet.
cute. It's cute and sweet, yeah, but I would have put it like on the arm maybe. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
maybe
So
like
then
in
because
here or
yeah,
something
because
or
then you could look at it all times like, oh, she's here with me, you know. But like on the
yeah.
chest, it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It was interesting placement. I think the
Yes.
sentiment and idea is great, but
Yeah.
location. Location
Yeah.
is everything when it comes to tattoos.
Yeah. Also the size of it was pretty large. And I was like, damn, like
Yeah.
that's like life size. Like that's
Yeah.
like I damn.
That's also
I
hard to cover up. A
yeah,
name could be some creative stuff. You could figure out a way to cover up a name, but that's just a
yeah.
block of eyes. You know,
Yeah.
you cover that up by putting black over it. That's how you cover that up, and now you have a
Yeah.
black bar on you. And
We are going off about this tattoo. Okay. Okay,
but
okay, 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 okay,
that's
okay.
also like, how hot did they look? God, damn. Good.
Oh yeah, they look great. And like I saw people saying like Daniel looks like 007. Like he looks his look was my favorite. It was good.
Yeah, yeah. No, their look
Yeah.
together. I thought they were going
Yeah.
to like a red carpet for like royalty or something like, or like some big like Met Gala thing. I don't know. Like it didn't feel like they belonged there. I was like, damn, you guys are woo. The girls are popping. You know,
They were.
man. No, I thought
Surprised he didn't
they
get
that.
those tattooed on his chest. Anyway,
uh,
Devin and Virginia. Let's go.
so this, I feel like their thing got interesting. Now I was waiting to watch theirs because I think I told you on our private chat how when I went to watch the wedding episode, Netflix thought it was really cool to show me a trailer of the reunion episode. So now I'm seeing in advance all these little things of like, I think I know who's gonna say no now because they just told me. And their
Mhm.
thing that stuck out was her talking about the letter from the ex-girlfriend. I was like, oh, ex-girlfriend, a letter? What is this? Say more. So- and then finding out it's like, oh, she met the girl. Oh, they're just friends, and like that girl's boyfriend is a part of the wedding party. And it's like, okay, there's no mysteries here. Like she's just they're
No.
friends. Like, and you knew this. Okay. I mean, I guess maybe she found out later on that they used to date, but it was like in high school. Why does that matter? Why, you know? I don't know why that had to be an issue. And like it almost felt like just like one more thing to throw into the hat to like, well, this is why I said no. It's because of this. And
Yeah.
he didn't tell me. It's like it was personal. He didn't have to tell you. It's because it's
And
a friend. A friend is just saying, "I'm proud of you." Why do you have to hear about that? Not everything has to be shared.
also the note was just there. It's not like he was hiding it. She was like, "Oh, I saw
Yeah,
a note." And he was like, she's dating the guy in my wedding party and we're friends and he's like all the note said was support for glad so happy for you that you found her and blah blah. I don't know. That
yeah.
I hated that. I thought that was this whole thing with Devin. It was like okay, okay, just people are gonna
Let
get
it
mad in
out.
the
Let it out.
comments. It's just so always the girls ganging up on the dudes nonstop in these reunion
Mm,
episodes. And always other girls chiming in, well, no, you said this, and we saw you at the bar, and you said this, and you said this, and you said that word. And it's like, oh my God. I kind of feel bad for the guys a lot of the time because
yeah.
I'm like, can you just let these people talk, first of all? I also didn't like how Virginia was trying to like basically out Devin as some sort of like bigot or
Yeah.
something, or we don't know what was said. It wasn't recorded. We don't, maybe he said something like, "Oh, my religion doesn't agree with, gay marriage, but gay people's fine, but like, or maybe we don't agree with like transitioning people, but if you're transgender, we don't know what was said, but he was like, "Listen, I accept everybody, and I think that people can just have difference of opinions and that be okay." And the whole time I'm like, yeah, exactly. But Virginia's demeanor was so angry and like seemed like she was really trying to throw Devin under the bus for whatever
Yeah.
reason. And he had a nice family. They were all supportive of him. He seemed like a nice guy. They're always trying to vilify these dudes so hard. And I don't know, maybe some of them deserve it, yeah, but I don't think every single man who's on Love is Blind deserves this, especially when you were the one who said no. Leave him alone.
And he
Like
cried
you
his ass
said
off.
no. Well, people are like, I watched and there was no tears and blah blah blah, whatever. But it's just like,
Uh,
you said no. Stop giving this guy shit. You're the one. You're confusing.
No, I'm
Sorry.
with you. I'm with you because it bothered me quite a bit too, especially that moment where she's just like, "Well, I don't." What he said his feelings off camera, and I don't want to say, what his thoughts were. She's like, "But I can share my thoughts," and it's
Mhm.
just like, by you saying that's how you feel, you've
Yeah.
still said his piece. Like the respectful thing would have been like, he had feelings off, off camera, and those conversations, I'm gonna stay personal, between the two of us. We just didn't see eye to eye. Like those conversations really opened my eyes. She could have said that and been more respectful, but no, no. She thought she was being tactile and everything. And it's like you still, and then
No.
he had to be on defense. He had to be like, I'm cool with everybody. Like he had to then, defend his character, and who
Yeah.
he is. It's like that's not cool. Come on. And especially since like, and it could, let's say for argument's sake, let's say it's all for TV and it's all just to, put on a good face. I'd still give more credit to the person, I guess, in this situation where like he's still saying great things about you. He's not trying to
Mhm.
tear you down. Like in my eyes, that's him taking the high road because maybe he does feel bad about you. Maybe he does think that you are a little bit of a bitch, but he's not saying it out loud. He's not letting the world see you that way. But you're making the world see you that way by how you're acting towards him. So like he's trying to help you out and defend you, but you're not taking it. You know? Being adults, it's annoying seeing people take each other down like that because like you're not
Yeah.
giving the benefit of grace, and especially if you're both godly people, then
Yeah.
be godly. If you speak so highly
Wow.
about religious beliefs and all that kind of stuff, then you don't do that. Then you just say turn the other cheek. You give someone a chance. You don't belittle them in front of everybody, in front of their friends and family and strangers on TV.
In the world.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that
George
bugged me.
spitting facts. George spitting facts. Uh,
uh
yeah, you're absolutely right. And they're like, "Oh, this is the first that this is I had never seen. I'm seeing a new man in front of me. I'm seeing. Well, of course he's going to be on like his best behavior on TV. Like, isn't that the smart thing to do, especially with cancel culture being so freaking strong? Like,
right.
if the one thing gets out about this guy being anything remotely what which would be interpreted as like transphobic or too conservative, he can get like canceled and like like a barrage of terrible messages and comments online. He's protecting his ass like you have to when you're putting yourself out into the public eye. And
Yeah, especially he
see,
coaches
and
kids.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. And just the way she was talking and the way well, I can speak for him, but I can speak for me. And it was so like snaky. And I was like,
Yeah,
like you said, it was her demeanor and everything she was saying. It was very attacking. And then freaking Madison chiming in all the goddamn time. Not everything's about you, Madison. Shut
yeah.
your goddamn mouth. Sorry. Sorry.
Uh, this will not be the last time we hear of Madison.
No, it won't be. And there's tons of people out there who are Madison lovers. That's great. You have your way of seeing her. That's fine. I don't see it that way. That's fine. This is the whole point. This goddamn
Wait,
season.
she has a fan club? I didn't know that.
Oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah. That's why
Oh,
I'm like saying, am I
hell
missing something
why?
here?
Hell why? Oh, I'm not gonna rewatch it, but do I have to rewatch it to see whatever that is? See, like I didn't. I liked her
No,
for
I
like
mean
2 seconds in the beginning, but over time she was like, "No, you're one of the crazy ones."
yeah, That's why I was wondering if we're missing something here, or is all these other people missing something here because I don't see it, or I see other
No,
things maybe. I don't know. But Ben and Sarah.
I don't know about the YouTube, Instagram stuff, so all I got to go off of is just the episode itself.
Yep.
And again, her like she just reiterated everything that we I was already feeling, of
Hmm.
her not, wanting to be with him. The thing that surprised me was her saying that they kind of dated afterwards, and like then they were planning to go to was it Tennessee together, right?
Nashville, yeah.
Nashville. Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
and
Tennessee.
because of her job or whatever, and he was going to be with her. That seemed weird to me. Now, granted, who knows what the conversations truly were because we don't know. They try to say what things happened that didn't or did not. I don't know. But in my opinion, you said no to me at the altar. I'm not going to stay with you in Nashville for like a month or whatever. It's not going to happen. I'm going to feel a little butthurt. I'm sorry. So like to me that seemed most reasonable. The fact that she was like, "Oh, well, you didn't come and you didn't message me and all this stuff." It's like, "Bitch, you said no at the altar." What? Like, why are you pretending like you guys got this special thing? Especially when she leans in again on those things that was going to keep them apart of like his religion and the stuff that he wasn't pushing, like the fact that he didn't make an effort to learn more about the causes that she cares about, make an effort to like show interest in those things that she has interest in. Like that wasn't going to change apparently. So like why are you mad about this one thing? About him not showing up. Calm down. Tell your friends that they can visit you now and you have space. Get over it. Like I feel like that was just blown up beyond what it should have been, you
Hmm.
know? And I wish we heard more about the other things because like I felt like she still beat it around the bush when it came to like, oh, I get why that TikTok video now. Yeah, it makes total sense. And it's like, does it though? Like you're not giving me enough to make me feel that he messed up, honestly. Like I feel like you couldn't handle his lifestyle. You couldn't handle that he wasn't 100% on the same page with you. You said no, and it's like I feel like the ball's in your court here towards all this stuff. I'm not seeing where he messed up, and which is weird. Like I'm feeling like you throughout like a lot of this, where it's just like, am I not seeing something? Am I missing something? Is there something like? And I think we are missing something. We're missing the full story, where there's a lot that they're not telling us.
Hmm.
Stuff that we're not getting to see that's off screen and everything. Like we didn't get to see when she watched the secret sermon online or whatever. We just hear her interpretation of it, you know. So it's just
Hmm.
like, okay, we don't know if that sermon was really bad. It's just you seeing it was bad. So I don't know, So that's what it feels like. It's a lot of hearsay towards why he's not great. And so it's hard for me to just be like, yeah, I'm with you. He's a bad guy because I'm not seeing all of it put together. And again, the guy is still saying decent things about the girl. like he didn't seem it had a lot of remorse towards her, and his responses seemed kind of logical to some extent, you know. And I'm not trying to say that he is a good guy. Like there could be things wrong with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe like, and I'll give her this, like to be playing devil's advocate here. If you do care about somebody, you should make an effort to learn more about the things that they're interested in.
Hmm.
You know,
Whatever it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever that thing is. Case
Hmm.
in point, like when me and Jen first got together, I'm always going to use this as an example because it's just practically 20 years of my life I've been with her. So it's prime things to pick from.
Hmm.
I don't care about purses. I can give her crap about purses. All right. I'm a guy. I need one bag. I don't need a bunch of bags. The fact that she had 20, 50 freaking purses, it blew my mind. But she loved Coach purses when we got together. So I did my best to like see which ones she had, see the styles and everything that she liked, which materials. I did my research so I knew what to get her when I wanted to like gift her one. And I think she still has it till this day. She's gotten rid of a lot of her purses, but the one I got her, she still has because it was special. The fact that I knew that which one, I knew which design to get, everything is like, it's like this is something she cares about. I get that. I get that sense of like he could have been at least a little bit more open and some kind of like gumption on his own to just like show interest. He doesn't have to go to a freaking rally. Just,
Yeah.
be like, you know what? Hey, I read up on the thing you were talking about.
Hmm.
So I could see why you'd like, I understand your perspective. Things like that go a long way. So I can give her that. but
And
there
he
was
he admitted to that too. He was like, I
yeah,
could have done that. And I'm sorry.
yeah.
It's on me. I really should have done it. But then the whole going to Nashville thing, and then her being like, "You dropped me," and I'm thinking, well, you actually said no at the altar, and then them talking about how he reached out to Jimmy, and then all making fun of
Ooh.
him for reaching out to Jimmy. But at the same time, it's like I would want to reach out to a past member. If I was a cast member, I would want to reach out to a past one and be like, listen, yeah, like you said, how are you dealing with this? And Jimmy, whatever, people, he's a joke, whatever, I guess, at people. But it's like he went through a lot on that season. Like he went through a lot on that season. He seemed like he'd be like easy enough to reach out to. And he responded. And it's like, why, what, if a woman reached out to another woman and said, listen, how do I navigate this? How do I deal with this? What do I do? No one would make fun. Like, you know what? It's women supporting women. Of course, you reach out to your girls, get your support. But like, they're all throwing him under the bus. Oh, Jimmy, oh, you reached out for help to talk about. Like, what's the problem with that? Because it's Jimmy, or because he wanted to talk to another cast member, and then they're like, oh, we were practicing questions. It's like I'd be like, yo, what should I be ready for at the reunion? Because I know I'm gonna get attacked. I know I'm gonna get attacked hard. I need to know how you dealt with it, what type of questions they asked you. I need to be mentally prepared because it's gonna be difficult. Why is that bad? Can someone explain to me why that's bad?
I honestly I saw that as just ammunition for them to like pile on him.
Yeah,
That's how it felt. And I when they so he didn't want to say Jimmy. He's like, I
no,
don't want to say, I don't want to throw them under the bus. And she's just like, oh, I'll say it, Jimmy. It's like, why are the girls being douches?
I
like there is no
know.
respect whatsoever. And then when we find out it's Jimmy, I'm just like, yo, Jimmy's like, I feel bad for Jimmy in that freaking in his season. It's like, and everyone was dogging on him. The hosts dogged on Jimmy
Yeah,
when they because Jimmy was popped up twice in the top 5 moments. And when it got
yeah,
to the moment with was it Jessica, I think? And
yeah,
Jessica was like, "Oh, you're gonna, need an
yeah.
EpiPen or whatever thing."
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick Lachey's just like, "And this is the guy you're taking advice from?" And it's like, "Hold the phone, Nick, all right? First off, he couldn't see her, all right? He's talking to a wall. So let's not over something like, he missed out on some hotness kind of situation. It's like, and second of all, the mental freaking mind games that he had to go through with freaking Megan Fox, all right? Let's 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 give
Mm-hmm.
let's give Jimmy some freaking grace over here and some leeway. That poor guy.
And like,
It's
why are
like,
you dogging on Jimmy for saying no to a hot chick when the whole point of Love is Blind is to not say yes just because a woman is hot? So what do you like? Oh, you're saying no to her because she's so hot. Like you're taking advice for him. It's like he was trying to follow his heart and not be like, well, I
yeah.
mean, was he? Because he's apparently the Megan Fox thing. But
Well,
anyway, but Nick Lachey,
still,
why are you giving
still.
him shit for like
Yeah.
not picking the hotter girl? I guess
Yeah, the dogging
that's
on
not the point of
Jimmy
your
was
show.
not cool in my opinion.
No, he had his time. He went through enough. Leave Jimmy alone. Okay, Joey and Monica.
This is like another couple like I feel like every couple was just freaking a dude, another situation where a dude's just getting shit on.
Yes, it was just a dude getting shit on by all the
uh,
ladies. Madison interjecting
all of
again.
them. Yeah. And I was like, what happened? It's like this one I really felt it too. Is just like, what did I not see in this episode or these episodes? Like, what did I miss? Especially like, can I just say like him coming in on his freaking longboard for the wedding and then for this episode and everything? It's so goofy and everything, but it's like a staple. It's like, this is me. I gotta have my
I
longboard.
I liked it.
I
I
kind of
liked
like
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because I feel like anyone else wouldn't want to do that because it's just like it makes you look childish. But it's just like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? It's like, despite however he was with her, he has full ownership of himself and who he is, and to have that, I think is very important. So I think that was something I liked about him. But besides that, it's like their things with each other and like the way she was just like on him about stuff. I kept going back to that moment. It's just like, but you never said I love you either. Like that's all I could think about while she was talking. Was just
Mm-hmm.
like, but what about you? Like you're just like negating your part of this. It takes two to have the relationship. Are we like forgetting that? I don't get like what's going on here. Like, why are we crapping on him for all this stuff? Sure, he should have been more forthright with you. He should have been more upfront. When that stuff happened with your sister, and which, granted, even when I think back, like he brought it up to her, the thing
Hmm.
with the sister. Like he made it a
Hmm.
point, which is like, hey, this has to get taken care of. It's like you said earlier. If this person's not showing you the things you need to see, you could have cut it off so sooner.
Hmm.
And now she's all up in her feelings because she let it go on for too long. She let things fester. And now it's
Hmm.
just in there. It's just living in her head, over and over again. That's what it looks like. It looks like someone who's still just living in that moment and not letting it go when she could have stopped it way ahead of time.
And they were saying that they hooked up once afterwards.
She says twice, he says once.
Yeah,
I feel like you don't forget when you sleep with someone, at least if it's within the year. Maybe 4 years ago you could forget, but a year, I think you remember that. So I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
And then so they were upset again about Madison. And then he messaged Madison after the meet and greet thing and said like, "Oh, nice hair." And here again is Madison being wording things very aggressively, making it all about her again. And then when Joey said, "Yeah, I messaged a few of the people that I saw, and I was like, nice hair. Wish we could have talked more." I mean, it could have been flirtatious. I guess it could have been taken that
Yeah.
way, or if this is the type of guy he is where he messages like a bunch of people and he was like, "Oh, wish we could have talked more, wish we could talk more," like whatever. Maybe he messaged a lot of people like that. I don't know. I don't know his personality. I don't know what he's doing. Of course, Madison's going to take it as flirtation. And she was super offended when he was like, "I was not interested in Madison." And she goes, "Okay. That that right there, I'm like, oh, is it so hard to believe that maybe
Yeah.
someone won't be interested in you, Madison? Like, is that so difficult? Like, everyone has to love you and like be so obsessed with you and into you and attracted to you that she was so like, okay. Like, what does that mean? I hated that reaction so much. I was like, you just get over yourself. Ultimately, I wish there wasn't that much animosity between Monica and Joey. And he was
Yeah.
even saying to Monica, he wasn't throwing her under the bus at all. He was like, I love you. I
No?
think you're an amazing person. And like, she was like getting mad, shaking her head. I love Monica too. I think she's awesome. But like, they were really at the guys' throats, like nonstop.
Yeah.
Everyone in Minnesota, stop going to clubs because all the bad stuff happens. And if you
Right.
see Madison at a club, just run, just go,
Go
because
away.
something's going to happen. If you say one word to that girl, it's going to be something. It's going to be turned into something.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen after on like Instagram is that Joey really didn't want to be on the show at all. He was in
Oh.
he was in an interview where he said Love is Blind reached out to him twice and he said, "No, I don't want to come on the show. I'm not interested in getting married." No. And then his sisters were like, "No, you should go on the show and
Ah.
you have a good personality for it. You should blah 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 this and that." And he was just like, "Oh," and I guess he like did it for his sisters and caved and thought, yeah, maybe I will give it a try. Maybe I will meet somebody. But this is
Interesting.
yeah, so he never, but again, he shouldn't have went on the show. Maybe he thought he was just going to be fun. He wouldn't get into this thing or that he wouldn't propose. I don't know. Maybe he didn't expect it to go that far.
Yeah.
But this is the thing that I hate about the seasons now is the casting situation. It
Yeah.
needs to change. It cannot be Love is Blind reaching out to people and
On
handpicking them
Instagram.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Instagram of all places. It has to be some sort of a casting call and then people applying and then them vetting through these people. Then look at their Instagram, then pick, but it has to be people actually genuinely interested in getting married. Because so many of these people they're casting just by an Instagram photo. And that's disgusting to me. Like that should not be at all what it is. These people from the beginning aren't even interested in getting married. What the hell? Okay, Lauren and Dave. The whole time I'm thinking about like how if there's any guy who seems out of the couples who made it past engagement, if there's any guy who seems to deserve, I'm putting quotations because
Yeah.
against the
Yeah.
show, it's all edited. If there's any guy who seems to deserve to be raked over the coals, it would have been Dave. Dave was painted as like the villain man this
Yeah. And he
season,
knows it. And he totally
and
knows
he
it.
knows it. And Lauren was the one who was the only woman who like defended the villain man. She was the only woman to defend any man and be like, no, listen, like you're being called a narcissist, and I don't believe you're either of those things. Just want to let you know. And she was so like gracious and so mature. And even when she said, like, I just feel like I'm miles ahead of being emotionally intelligent. And she was like, I think you would agree. He was like, yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. And it was still respectful. Like, she didn't attack him. Everything was very respectful. I was really hoping for Dave's sister to be there. Of course she wasn't.
Right.
Still
Yeah.
wondering if like what was, but I thought their interaction with one another was really good. The one thing that I thought was funny was when Dave was like, oh no, Lauren said, oh, he reached out to me 2 or 3 weeks before the reunion, and said a really nice message. And I'm thinking, of course he did.
Yeah, right. I thought so too.
Because like he doesn't want you to rake him over the coals in the
Yeah.
reunion. So this is like a preempted, like it's smart on his point, like on his part. Like I understand why it would be done. Is it manipulative? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's sincere, but it is smart to do so that you don't have what happened to all the other men happen to you when it's like you're the one who it seemed like it should have happened to and it didn't.
Yeah.
So what do you think about all that?
Oh no, I loved their interaction with each other. I definitely felt like at points, I think Nick and Vanessa are almost like trying to push something there, just like,
Of course.
like, hey, this could be opportunity, you know, and
Yeah.
which I kind of felt that like, not like I wanted to get back together because that just wasn't going to work, with everything that happened. But like,
Hmm.
there's that hopeless romantic, and you watch so many rom-coms and love movies where it's like, this is your chance. And I thought it was going to happen. I thought he was going to say like all the right things, you know what I mean, and just be like, I made a mistake, and I don't want to live the rest of my life looking back on how I lost the one thing that could have made it better. And it's just like I've denounced like all of my family. I don't care about them. All I care about is you. And it's like, and if you give me that chance, can you be the thing that replaces my family and be the thing I need? With something. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? And it could have been like this really special moment. He's just like, no, I don't want to say anything on TV. He's like, I'm
Which I
good.
get.
I
Which I
get it
get.
too. I do
That's
get it. It's like
the
it should be
yeah.
honest. And
Yeah.
her face is
It
just
would
like, don't do it.
yeah. Please don't, because I don't think she wants it at all.
No.
And I think
I
he
love how
knows
strong
that.
she is. Like she's such a
Yeah.
strong person. That's the thing that
Yes.
adds to her defending him is like it's not a defense of like someone who is weak-minded and is like maybe abused by like some a relationship or some crap, whatever. It's like no, she was always very confident in her decisions and who she was and what she was doing.
Okay.
So when everything happened, like I loved how strong she was with all of the things that happened. And so in turn, when she's defending him in front of everybody
No.
and all that stuff, it's like I feel it. I feel it's like everyone should listen to her. Right? Like she's smart. She knows what she's talking about. She's
Yep.
she's got she's got it all together way better than the rest of you do. Because everyone else was all up, like I said, all up in their feels, all up in their emotions in their head and everything. And it was the me show. With her, like it's the me show, but it's the him show too. And we both went through this together. It wasn't handled right by him. He knows it now. It is what it is. We had an experience. Move on. Kind of that's how I kind
Hmm.
of felt. And leave the guy alone. He's got a lot of growing to do. Let him grow.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because that kind of the thing is like he's not gonna get better if you guys shit on him.
No. And it made her look really good. It made him look fine. Like I was like, okay, this was well done. Like even if he is like I want to say, like even if he is acting or whatever, I mean, he's choosing the right thing to do. Like that's how you should behave. Be like, yeah,
Yeah,
I did things shitty. And even if he believes it himself or not, that's what you do if you're on TV and you want to avoid because he's already getting shat on all over Instagram and
yeah,
comments and stuff like that, being called names constantly and stuff like that. And I like how she was like, no, no, he's not those things. Just, yeah, I don't know. That their little segment, I was like, well done, you guys. That was well handled.
I was like, thank God. It's
Yeah,
just
thank God.
there's one couple that's not stupid.
On that
But
note,
now, but now on the other hand,
the Meg Mason, Madison, a little hint of Alex, which we'll get into the Alex stuff too, because in my head, I kind of don't think he should have even been there. And that's for other reasons.
the Instagram stuff you sent me,
The Instagram stuff, and there's a lot of allegations coming out about Alex being
sketchy
into
as hell.
younger, well, yeah, schedule tell into like younger people, and there's just like text messages and stuff, and maybe he's not the best person. And if he is into like underage people, like even now still, like that's obviously not good. And then people are like, why are they not calling him out on the show? And I'm like, because that's like criminal
It makes the
stuff.
show look bad. It makes the
It makes the show look bad because they didn't vet him properly.
yeah,
It also, that's something that's beyond drama and on for TV stuff. Like that's
yeah.
something that is like we can't just talk about that for drama's sake. That is something where it's like you got to go to jail or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's
It's
huge.
it changes the whole dynamic of the show because the show
Yeah.
tries to still have fun, and there's no way to put
Hmm.
a fun spin on that in
No,
that setting. You just turned yourself into Jerry Springer at that point, you know, and that's not the show they want to produce.
a little. It's like it's kind of like Cops. Like it's worse. It's like
That
it's
too,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's it's so bad that I think they personally, if they knew that this was happening, I don't know when this was filmed. I don't even know how long ago these allegations started coming out, but if they knew any of these things, I personally don't think Alex should have been on the show. Because that's just too huge. That's just too huge
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
allegations. Like that's the worst of the worst.
And in all honesty, like when you look at the episode, he didn't add anything to it either. You could have took him out and it wouldn't have changed anything.
We have Meg and Mason. First of all, they come out. Everyone knows I if we watched the past episodes, I liked Meg. I still like Meg. Meg's getting a lot of hate right now online, which this is when I was texting George earlier today.
Really?
Yeah, and yeah, on her own Instagram page. I was like, I'm gonna double check on this. I want to see what people are saying to her.
Huh.
So people are getting really upset at Meg. And then Mason and her had a relationship. They tried a couple times to have a relationship. It didn't work out. They're still best friends apparently. Mason had this really nice thing to say about her and how like the best thing in the show was that I met Meg and she's like my best friend. I can't imagine my life without her. And I thought all that was really sweet.
Those two specifically, I'm actually it's too bad it didn't work out for them because
Yeah.
it they felt good together, honestly. But the fact that they're still like friends and everything like that, I thought that was awesome, you know. Like I think it's cool to find out that relationships still continue past the show, even if it's is on a friend level. Because like that's
Mm,
awesome when you can just get someone new in your life that you connect with, you know, especially like, as we get older, it's hard finding new connections, even in a friend level.
I agree. I actually liked all that. Madison, I don't even know what's happening with her in this because my notes are really all over the place about Madison. And she's talking about how it was a tie between them. And I'm thinking, okay, that's in just a weird wording for it was a
Yeah.
tie between
Yeah.
her and Alex. So she's going back and forth about how she was doing the same thing Mason was doing, essentially. Or she's getting mad at Mason saying he's manipulative. And they're like, dude, you were doing things to both of us that's like the
Yeah.
same if not more manipulative. And I've like giving a present and being really emotional with one person and being really dirty and sexual with another person. I mean, like that's kind of, I don't know,
Hmm.
it rubbed us the wrong way. Like, I don't think she can admit when she's wrong about anything. It just really seems
Oh
like
no,
it's
no.
always her her way being arguing constantly, blaming everyone else for everything. And then when I have in all capital letters and laughing, she's tired of women falling on the sword for men. And I just typed, I'm tired of women blaming everything on men, thinking they can do no wrong, and everything was the man's fault, which is what Madison does. She blames everyone else, not just men, but like women. It just made me so mad because if you watch this whole episode and you see how attacked the men are constantly and how the women are all supporting one another, well, some of them are supporting one another and being like, oh, it's okay. It's like, what are you talking about? How are you falling on the sword for the
Yeah.
man? Because they're trying to call you out a little bit to take accountability of maybe something you did too. And you just can't be like, yeah, I can see that when I go back. It's like she's basically saying, I was just playing the game. It was a tie.
I'm thinking back what I just said a second ago, where I was just like, Alex didn't add anything to the episode, but I take it back. He did add something because in this moment, he gets to add to the point of calling her out, where it's just like you were saying different. He's like, I watched the episodes, and you're saying different things to both of us, and it's just like, yes, tell her. It's like, how is it any different? You're being such a hypocrite. It was so annoying watching because I said it back in one of our other episodes where I didn't think Mason did anything bad. I felt like he was doing the same thing she was doing. You're talking to multiple people. That's the process that this is. You know, you're just butthurt that things went a certain way with you guys, and because Alex said no to you. and then it didn't work out the way that you wanted to. You wanted your little games to go the way you wanted, and for no one else. Hence why you ruined the things for Mason and Meg. And she doesn't like choose to see that for some reason. So of course Meg's gonna be against you. Of course Meg's gonna fricking be on his side because you kind of manipulated her too.
Hmm.
With things that you said. You could have kept things more to the chest, but you didn't. Everything is definitely it's the her show. It's the Madison show. She's the main character. Forgetting that
Yeah.
other people have their own things going on and their own feelings and adventures happening. And so like when she comes up out of nowhere, I'm sorry, I'm gonna fast forward a bit, to like her conversation with Alex through a text message, and she was like calling him like two-faced or whatever. It's like, you defended Mason in the pods, but then you like thought he was an asshole outside of the pods. And she's like, I got the messages right here. And we hear and see the messages. And the reasons that she think he's being an asshole towards Mason are because of emojis. And it's like a skull emoji, and then like was it a sick emoji or whatever?
A
Melting
melting
emoji.
emoji, which is a compliment emoji. The melting emoji means, oh, like a swoon
Right?
type
That's what I
melting
thought
emoji.
too. Yeah, because he
Yes.
was responding to him and Meg being together. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, so I guess they're dating in the melty face. It's like, all right, that's good, isn't it?
I was ready to be like, okay, here we go. Not that I'm defending Alex in any way, especially if all these allegations are true.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
if
for
these
this moment,
allegations are
for this
true,
thing,
yes, for
for
this moment, these text messages showed absolutely nothing, in my opinion. Especially when all she was focusing on was the emojis, and she's like, "Doesn't sound like a really good friend." And I'm thinking, I have if someone texts that about me, I don't think I'd be mad at them whatsoever
yeah. And
at
there's
all.
texting and context. There are two
Yeah,
things that get
yeah.
confused all the time. People always misconstrue like feelings and intent when it comes to a text message. So I always feels
Hmm.
like I can't go off of what you feel with a text message unless it was an actual conversation. This means nothing to me. And you can see Mason wasn't even affected by this. Like he's seeing this and looking at his face, it's like, that's it? That's
Yeah.
like he was probably waiting for something like really bad so he could be mad at Alex, but he's like, okay, if that's it, it's like, me and Alex are fucking cool. It was like
Yep.
you were just trying to make this thing out of nothing. And she felt so validated, like, yeah, I would have had more, but I can only fit so much in my bra or whatever
My
crap that
pit,
was.
in my
Yeah, my
pit.
pit. Yeah. They're like,
Like,
okay.
okay, but you think if you're coming on the show, you would have brought the most damning
Right?
evidence. So if that's the most damning evidence she has, then what does the other one say? Nothing. It can't be like that. That was embarrassing. That was grasping at straws. That was like
Yeah.
she was trying to prove a point and it proved absolutely nothing. And right after that, they kind of like moved on. And I'm like, because there's nothing to say about it.
Yeah. Which now when you saying that people are on her side online and shitting on Meg, I want to know how and why now.
Okay, I'll tell
Like,
you
did they
why.
watch this episode and still feel that way?
Yes.
Because what did I not see? Like all I saw was someone being stupid and another person defending a friend.
So everyone's referring. I had to look up this term because I'm like, what does it mean? Everyone's referring to Meg as a pick me girl.
Really?
Now,
Okay.
for definition here, because I didn't know, a pick me girl means a girl who seeks male validation by indirectly or directly insinuating that she is not like the other girls. A pick me girl often stems from a lack of self confidence, limited sense of identity, immaturity, the media, and the cultural pressures to appeal to men and gain their validation. I'm thinking there's another one I read earlier about what a pick me girl means, and it's like sabotaging others so that you are the girl who gets picked. I'm like, Madison's a pick me girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Madison to me is a pick me girl because she's the one always interjecting and causing drama in between everybody else, being like, no, 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 you said this to me, therefore you are a shitty person. No, 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 you hit on me, therefore this. No, 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 like this. It's like, isn't that what a definition of a pick me girl is? Like, am I missing that?
And I'd argue the fact that Meg was going after one guy. If she was a pick me girl, she'd want all the guys to pick her, like how Madison did.
Yeah.
Just
And
saying, we had
also,
Madison was going after Alex and Mason. Madison was the one who was apparently jealous that Joey saying he wouldn't want to go after her. She was like, okay.
yeah,
It's like you
yeah,
clearly want
okay.
all the guys to choose you. You so it's like
Yeah.
I would say she's the one who fits that definition.
Yes, because she also sabotaged, I think, Megan Mason's relationship in the pods.
Hmm.
Meg didn't go to Mason and said, "Hey, pick me over the girl." Never once. She never
No.
once said like, "I want to be the one you're choosing," blah blah blah. She said, "You know what? I think that yeah, I don't want to be number 2, so I'm just going to end it now and I hope you happiness whatever." How was that a pick me girl? And then after, yeah, she was like, "Oh, I wonder what Mason looks like. I want to check it out." And then she's like, "Oh," and then they met up and then they dated and then they split up. How is this a pick me girl? I have no idea. So that is what
Yeah.
people are saying. I also saw people criticizing her for liking Joe Rogan and for having alt-right theories, which are what? Aliens? Like
Oh
what are
my
her alt
God.
what
Okay.
and again,
Okay.
I'm like, okay, so Love is Liberal and they're
Uh,
doing a whole like they're criticizing her because she likes Joe Rogan, who I'm just like, I don't even you know what? I'm not even gonna touch on that. I'm just gonna leave the Joe Rogan thing alone because I think it's
it's
stupid.
like what I said earlier with the politics thing. It's like not like in the same movie. It's just the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, she likes Joe Rogan instead of what Bill Maher. I don't know what would be the opposing thing to Joe Rogan.
Not even
It's
Bill
not
Maher
not even
anymore.
because Bill Maher's more in the right now.
He's coming. Not
Yeah.
even like,
So
but Joe Rogan's like, he has his beliefs, but he has people of all different beliefs on his podcast. He's
yeah.
trying to like share everything. So like people hate Joe Rogan. I'm like, you just don't like difference of opinion in any sort of way. And calling her alt-right theories, I don't even know what they're talking about.
I don't. Yeah. I don't
Alien,
know.
I don't.
Like she sounds like
Anyway,
someone who watches the History Channel. That's what she sounds like.
yeah, or like so what? Okay, I don't know what the alt-right theories are. Also, it's stupid.
Yeah, that blows
Um,
my mind.
and it's also like again, people being so hateful who are supposed to be open-minded when they're not. Like, just so not. Okay, so women are commenting on Meg's posts, and they're getting mad at her. They're calling her a pick-me girl, insulting her, and then getting mad at her for taking the sides of two men and not defending Madison, who is the a woman. So people are mad at Meg for defending men. Okay. Who she knows Mason more than Madison does. They're best
Yeah.
friends for like a year, so she knows him. So people are getting mad. But the thing about these women who are in these comments getting mad at Meg for not supporting the women and supporting the men, it's like, what? Look what you're saying to a woman. Like you're on her page calling
Yeah.
her a pick
Yeah.
me girl, calling her all these bad names. Like seriously, being so rude and so demeaning and so like just absolutely tearing her down. And you're getting mad at her for not siding with women and for siding with men when you're doing way worse. It just, I'm sorry, I'm getting mad, but it's just like you cannot get mad at a woman for not being supportive of a woman, and then you're the one who's not supporting the woman, and you're like degrading the woman. Like, shut,
uh,
George.
it becomes a circle of insanity.
Sorry,
Now you're preaching.
sorry, George. Anything else about Mason and
Oh man.
Madison, and anything else about Meg? I don't know.
The only other note I had, and because I thought it was funny, and
Yeah.
it's because Madison makes it a point to like say that Mason was very manipulative and and was like playing both of them and all this kind of stuff. And I love that Mason is just like, well, thank you for giving me the credit that I could even come up with something like that. Pretty much
I'm
like
smart.
yeah, like I was smart enough. It's like so he called himself an idiot. And
Yeah.
I thought that was real funny. It's
So
like
did I.
thanks.
I liked
It's
it.
like I'm stupid as hell, but thank you for saying that. That's how I saw it as. That's
I also love that quote. He's like, "Thank you for thinking I'm smart enough to manipulate women." Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just really don't. And he said that when I love a woman, I go all in. And he's like, "This was torture for me. This was torture. Like, this
Yeah.
sucked." Like, he did not like that. And of course, if we say this, then there's gonna be people being like, "Oh, you believe Mason, and you're not gonna believe." It's like, yeah, you know what? Why? Why not? I'm not mad at Mason about any of this. I don't think he. I mean, sorry, I'm tired now from
Yeah.
getting so angry. I
It's
feel like I'm.
because of how it'd be a different story if she played it cooler. But
Mhm.
because she's playing this higher than thou kind of thing, despite playing the exact same game. Like she played a mirror game that he did. You know what I mean? Because we talked about it. One of the things that me and you talked about that was annoying with Mason is like he was two different people. We got vocal fry with one person and then a smooth voice with another. With
Mhm.
her, we got sexual talk with one person and emotional talk with another. You know. So it's just like, let's not pretend like you both weren't being two different people. It's like you were doing the exact same thing he was doing, and everyone saw it. So it's like it's not like you can hide it and pretend like it didn't happen. Everyone in the world saw it. Granted, for some reason, from what you're telling me, a lot of women are not seeing what she freaking did.
No, they're
But
not.
you know what it is? It's that two-sidedness that's happening right now in the dating community, where it's like men can't, or like it depends whose side you're on. If you're a man, you can date as many people and sleep with as many people you want, but a woman can't.
Mm,
But on the other side, women are feeling that same way where it's like, oh, well, I can be like this. I can explore my options, but you can't. No, you got to be cool,
mm.
you know? So it's just like there's this weird thing where like people are vilifying each other for doing this certain thing, but they're doing that certain thing also. It's like why are we being like this? Like if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. I'm sorry. All right.
Mhm. Like they have expectations for other people to be a certain way in a relationship, like towards them, but they can have free reign to do whatever they want. Like it's just,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it doesn't apply to me type thing. I just really didn't like how Madison doesn't, where it's like, can you self-reflect or can you like be introspective and can you be like, yeah, okay, I can see how you would think that watching it back. Like even being like, yeah, especially the way it was edited, I can see how you could think that watching it back. I
yeah,
saw it too. Like any humility whatsoever, anything that's not a direct defense mechanism. And maybe that has to do with her childhood and maybe she never felt safe expressing her feelings in a certain way, and a lot of people who are raised like that are get defensive right away because
yeah.
everything's like an attack. But it's like still, you saw it, you watch it with your own eyes. Like just have one sense of like humility to be like, you know what, that wasn't great. Like, you know what, I was going a little off the rails about the women there, and I'm sorry, but it gets me so mad. And you know what, I could have calmed down a little bit. Like it's just it's that easy. Could have been a little more calm about that, not so angry. It's just
uh
fresh in my mind. And you know what? I'm kind of in my mind now being like, okay, I was really hard on the women in the comment section. So maybe I was doing the same thing that the women in the comment section are doing to Meg. But at the same time, it's like, dude, stop. Just stop attacking nonstop.
yeah, especially if you're not practicing what you preach. That's the problem. Don't come in like you believe in being on everyone's side and giving everyone a chance, but not giving anyone a chance at all. It's like, and
Yeah,
also like, let's stop pretending like you all know each other because you don't. You don't know what they're
that's
going
right.
through. You have no idea.
We're almost out. We're almost out of the woods here. We're almost out of the whole thing. So flash forward, we find out that two ex cast members got engaged from different seasons. Not even just different seasons, but different
Different
types of
countries.
different countries. And what was your feeling when you saw that AD and Ollie from You Love Is My UK and AD from season 6, right? 6, I think
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Yep. Six.
How did you feel seeing them be together?
I liked Ollie from his season
Yeah.
of the UK one. The AD thing got us into a situation on here before, so obviously I'm not a fan of her. Uh, but I hope for the best. It's like maybe they just had the right people at first. Maybe this is the guy for her. Who knows? I also just felt like how you talked about earlier how this show is starting to feel very disingenuous and
Yeah.
everything because of its casting, all that kind of stuff. I think added to the perfect match show, it really adds to how disingenuous this show really feels because like when season 2 I think was happening for Perfect Match, they made sure to advertise it I think in season 6, you know and it was just like some of those people were going to be in that next season so you can see them there, and it's just like, okay, that just tells me that these people who claimed they were here for love and not for fame are here for fame because now they're doing
Yeah.
another show.
Yeah.
Specifically like Jessica. I think Jessica had said that she was not there for fame, and then we saw her on Perfect Match. She ends up on like the Metro PCS commercials, which mimic Love is Blind and Perfect Match shows and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, you're clearly here for the fame. What are you talking about? And
Yeah.
so it's just like I can't take their venture for love to heart anymore. And the whole point of reality TV is that it at least attempts to mostly be real. Now it's just like, nah, you
Hmm.
feel more scripted again. This just feels like, I know it's scripted to some extent. I'm fully aware that it's produced, but it's supposed to make me feel like it's not. And now you kind
Yeah.
of you took that away from me at this point by doing all of this. by giving me this freaking Love is Blind perfect match universe of sorts. Like this, all these dating show things. Like you've the mysticism's gone. So seeing them come together, I was just like, yeah, okay. This could just be a publicity stunt just to get like more eyes on the show. Like who knows what was happening in the background. Maybe you guys were paid to be together. I don't know. I
Oh,
can't take it
true.
seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a multiverse now of just like all these different love shows.
Yeah.
Like what's the next branch gonna be? Second Chance or something like that. It's gonna be something like that, or like a mix and match of seasons. They're gonna put all the new like the
Yeah.
people who
I
didn't
mean,
work out.
didn't I say that some people deserve a second chance? I could see them doing that.
Yeah. I feel the same way as you. Even though I know this was the 5th year anniversary, having that musical number at the end, it just feels so like how that performance at the end and they're all dancing out with their cups. I'm just like, I don't know. It just felt I just remember what it used to be. And I loved
Yeah.
the way it was in the good old days. And it felt more raw and natural. And it really did. And now, and of course, you're gonna grow, and there's gonna be
Yeah.
like growth is inevitable, but it is losing its charm a bit. And I think the where it loses it the most for me is definitely the casting system. Really, I don't like anymore. Especially since it's like they're choosing people that are specifically really attractive. It seems like they're trying hard to pick people because then they're like, okay, well, it's more like you're not a person anymore, you're a
You're a
product. Like
product. Yes.
how can we market you in a different show now? Like, would this person be good in a bikini to be on like this, like Love Island or whatever the hell, is that a show?
Hmm.
Like be on something like that, like Too Hot to Handle, is that a show? I don't the Love is
Yeah.
Blind's the only
Yeah.
one I
Yeah.
watch. So
No,
I
these are
don't
all
know.
shows on Netflix. Yeah, the Too Hot to Handle, Love Island
Okay, there you
stuff.
go.
That I mean, for Perfect Match, they're picking people from just in general, mostly love shows
Hmm.
on Netflix. But like one of the guys that was on there was from The Mole. It was just another
Oh,
like a Netflix competition show with people.
like reality type. Okay.
Yeah, it's all reality based. But yeah, it's like there's picking from that pool. It you know what it's like? It makes me think of MTV when it had Road Rules and The Real World. And then after
Okay.
that, there'd be the Road Rules Real World Challenge, and they would compete
Mm,
against each other, and there became like this whole like world, like MTV's reality universe. It became this huge thing, and they would all come
mm.
together for like their challenges that was almost like Survivor like or whatever. And that's what this is making me think of. It makes me think of that, like that kind of world again.
But when you add the aspect of like love and marriage in it, it's like, dude,
It messes it up. It
it
messes it up.
messes it up. It can't be like this isn't a game, man. Like we want people like George and I watch it and like the drama makes me a little uncomfortable, but like we watch it, we want to see the love. We do want to see genuinely people coming together, falling in love, and especially if it's based on the soul, not the appearance. Like it was a precious idea, and I feel
Yeah,
like it's getting a little tainted and muddied and a little bit dirty and dark in a way where it's just like it feels sleazy. It's getting sleazy, and before it started a little more like precious and like with good intentions. It seemed that way. I mean, I don't know if it was actually intended, if it was intended to grow like this, but it, yeah, I think a lot of people didn't like this season because it was lower on the drama and everything. I see a lot of meme stuff about it being so boring, so much talking. But then at the same time, it's like that's what I want to see. I want to see the relationships grow. I
yeah,
want to see people how they handle relationships, how they handle conflict. Because that was the number one thing with Daniel and Taylor is like how they handle the conflict. I'm like, that's love. That's what you want. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old biddy now where I'm like, just show me the love and the drama gives me, where's my pills and eat my anxiety. Okay.
See,
I'm
but
getting
the thing
anxious.
is, seeing Taylor and Daniel, how much of a rarity was that though?
Hmm.
Like that's just it made it unique, and it made it just like, oh wow, you don't see that every day. People communicating and understanding each
Yes.
other, not calling each other out for whatever, or being up in their own emotions and thoughts, like hearing one another. Like you just don't see that in anything.
No.
Even in like dramas, you don't get to see that because people are still just thinking about themselves. You know. So it's like to me, like that was really cool. I want to see more stuff like that. I think that should be promoted and showcased for people to learn from. We don't have good
Right.
examples like that kind of stuff out in the public or in entertainment.
Yeah. And especially even like in the real world, like even couples, like even like Taylor and Daniel, you guys are a staple. You guys are like what we can like strive to be. So, I mean, dude, get those eyes tattooed in your chest. You guys deserve that. Like, I mean, they're such good role models for everyone. Get whatever you want tattooed on each other. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, is that all? Is that all you want to talk about? Is that it? Are we all
Uh,
good? Did we
well, I
spew
guess
and
I
expel everything?
I had a question for you when it came to
Mm.
the top
Okay.
five moments of All Is Love Is Blind.
Oh
Uh,
my God.
so I can't remember all the moments, so I'm not even going to ask you like what's your top moment. I just want to reflect on the moments that they chose.
Yes.
And do you agree with the order of their top five?
I do think that the Jimmy and what's her name one as number one is fitting. I know what my number one moment would be, but you give me what your order, what you think.
Uh, so like I said, I wasn't gonna go off of like anything adding. So just off of this
Oh,
list
okay.
alone, I just
Hmm.
felt like for me, I was disappointed that the Lauren and Cameron thing was at number two. I was like, how is that not number one? This is Love Is Blind couple prime. Like they are
Yeah.
the couple. They're like the Kelly Clarkson of this show. All right, no one peaks
Mhm.
over them. They are the
Yes.
ones. All right, and so the fact that they were number two bothered me, and I was just like, and the EpiPen things like really, yes, it was a moment. I will give you that, but it's not number one compared to that. And I'd even argue that the Megan Fox thing trumps the EpiPen thing because of what followed. But that whole
Yeah.
relationship is just like, bitch was crazy. All right, that whole thing was memorable.
Like that was created a whole like what do they call that? It's like a whole like meme, a whole generation of memes and everything like that.
Yeah,
That created a whole thing. I think, of course, they're going to pick a more dramatic one over a love one because, like we're saying, with the direction of the show, they're not going to pick a number one thing to be actual legit about love. It's
yeah.
going to be the
Well, this was picked
drama, the
by the
drama.
fans. The fans
Yeah,
picked
that's not
this,
that's, that's
so
what
yeah.
I. But
I'm
in
just saying
my
I don't agree with the fans. I say screw the fans. All right, you guys know what I'm
yeah,
talking
yes, yeah, no,
about.
I agree with you. And to me, I would have my number one moment of all is what got me hooked on the show. Is what made me cry. I still sometimes to this day YouTube this clip. I would have had the Lauren and Cameron when when Lauren confesses her love to Cameron first, and Cameron says he loves her too, and then she's like that, and he starts crying a little bit, and that to me was the best Love Is Blind moment ever, and more than Cameron and Lauren seeing each other for the first time, it was when they confessed their love to each other for the first time. I have goosebumps,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
would be number one on my list because that was like one of the most beautiful things I've seen on TV.
Honestly, I feel like I can pick multiple moments from them alone that should have been on the list because another like I think standout moment was him like freestyling when we find out that
Yeah,
he would like be a part of a rap group. I was like, what? This guy?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know? And he had a little bit of a flow or whatever. It's like, okay, it's you guys belong together. You
yeah.
guys make sense. Another one of those things like I wasn't much for the top five list in general though. The idea of a top five list. It took
Mm-mm.
away from me. The music video took away from me. Also, side note, I've never heard of that artist before. I didn't know that his songs were in the show. Didn't know who he was. But yeah, it was just random. And I just thought to myself, like, when they said it, they opened it up saying like we're a musical guest or whatever. And I've been saying this for seasons now. How are you gonna have Nick Lachey on this show? All right, who's like to me the official boy band of love. All right, like this. If there's any guy in any of the boy bands who epitomizes love, he's it. Love is his brand, you know? And yet you don't have him sing a song. It's just like Kelly Clarkson, who's singing on her show. Freaking Kelly Clarkson, all right? How are you not having Nick Lachey sing? Vanessa Lachey has fake sang some songs on this show already. Yet Nick Lachey has not sang one freaking note on this damn show. What are we doing here? Like they don't even use his songs or 98 Degree songs in the background. I was waiting for one song to happen this season, not once. He has a
Maybe
song that goes, "I will marry you." The words "I will marry you" are in the goddamn song. I'm sorry about. It's just what are we doing here?
so true, so true, so true. Don't you know? It's so true. So, what do you guys think? Is Madison crazy? Is Mason terrible? Is Joey the bad guy? Is Devin the bad guy? Is Virginia actually a bee inside? Who knows? Let us know down below what you guys think. Everything we're wrong about, everything you agree with, we're here for it. Please let us know in the comments below. And anything you want to add, George?
What is your favorite moment from Love Is
Yeah.
Blind? Like,
What is your favorite
what makes
moment?
you watch this show?
Good question, George. Jeez.
Yeah.
You can find more of our content on our YouTube channel, Not a Strong Start. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X at Not a Strong Start. You can listen to us anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Thank you very much. And you can follow me on Instagram at Replays It All. I have hair in my mouth and it won't go away. George, where can we find you?
You can find me at Nicolopolis without hair in my mouth, just around it. Just
Never stop playing and never stop. I always blank here, and I was like, never stop singing, Nick Lachey. Just own it.
yeah,
Just make it. Just let's hear some of your songs in the next season. Let's go.
bring it back, man. That blue-eyed soul.